Hi, I'm Lori, and I'm the Chief Baby Catcher here at South Coast Midwifery. So nice to get to spend some time with you all and explain some of the things that we routinely do around here. A lot of people ask me, so why would I need to have my cervix checked before I go into labor? Well, there's actually something called the Bishop score, and I'm going to explain that to you and tell you the pros and cons of having your cervix checked before you go into labor. So what is the Bishop score? It is an assessment done by your midwife or your doctor, and where we will check the cervix of the mama who's coming into that due window and see how ripe is her cervix. Because it's kind of like fruit. If it's not ripe, it's not going to change. So we're going to assess. There's 5 things that we feel for when we feel inside. One of them is the station. How low is the baby in her pelvis? Has the baby dropped? Another consideration of evaluation is how is the consistency of her cervix. So it could be firm, medium, or soft. So it's very similar. I kind of jokingly say it's like an avocado. If your avocado is not ripe, you can't make guacamole out of it, meaning it won't change its shape. So we're looking for how soft is the cervix. Another area that we assess is effacement. That is, how long is the cervix? The closer to birthing time a woman gets, her cervix thins out. So it kind of flattens out like a pancake as it gets softer, etc. So we're looking at how effaced. If it's 0% effaced, that means it's long. The higher percentage, the more thinned out it is. And another area is dilation. Everybody talks about that. How dilated is the cervix? Well, it can be closed, it can be open. Women who've had multiple babies might always be a little bit open towards the end. So that's one of the other areas, one of the 5 areas that we're looking at. The last of the 5 things that we evaluate is what is the position of the cervix. Now we're talking about, is the opening of the cervix, is it facing mother's spine, middle, or anterior? I kind of make a joke and say it's sort of like a rosebud. As a rosebud matures, it turns towards the sun and opens. And so the cervix is similar. When it's not ready, it will face the spine as the mother's spine. And as it gets progressively more ripe, it will actually kind of turn towards the front of the mother's body, and that's where it can start to dilate, efface, etc. So the Bishop score there's points for everything. So for example, if her cervix was posterior, it's 0 points. If it was facing the front of her body, it's 2 points. So you add up those 5 categories and you come up with a number, and then if the mother has had other children, she gets an extra point for every 1 baby that she's had. If it's a new mama and she's never had any children, unfortunately you get subtracted 1 point. So this is my experience. Multips, or women who've had babies before, tend to go into labor when your Bishop score is around 5 or 6. When it's a first-time mama, you tend to go into birthing time when your Bishop score is around 11 and 12. So if you know early enough, let's say you know at 38 weeks what your Bishop score is, you would know whether you might need to implement some other ripening techniques. Like, would it be like acupuncture, homeopathy, various other things that would help to ripen the cervix to avoid going overdue. Why do you want to avoid going overdue? Because 1, everybody gets really nervous about it. The family keeps asking, when are you going to have that baby? Drives you bananas. But also it's so that you can avoid some of the testing. There's usually more fees involved. You have to do non-stress tests, ultrasounds, AFI, fluid levels, etc. So for many people, they would like to avoid all that if they just could be more proactive in getting their cervix to ripen. So there you are. There's some tips and trade secrets of midwives from the Chief Baby Catcher at South Coast Midwifery. If you'd like to know more, if you'd like to experience this kind of care, more education, interactive, etc., let us know. We're here to help.